Go. My name is Andrew Malakuna, and I'm going to stand in the general election as an independent in the borough of Enfield. I started campaigning 14 years ago against what I believe to be a totally unjust system, and I've stood before an election and I'm standing again. I'd like you to see a small film that was made about me about 9 years ago, and how we've progressed I will tell you at the end of it. Thank you.
This is a true report of a man who was born a free soul on the 21st of April 1956 and feels he has a right to speak on behalf of every living thing on this once beautiful planet of ours. He was born in a part of this world called the British Commonwealth, and by the time he was 4 years old he belonged to 4 unique clubs. Being born a human, belonging to the Greek culture, baptized into the world of God, registered for the value of 100 mils into the British Commonwealth. Through no choice of his own, when he was 2, he was brought to London where he grew up. He has since travelled the world and always returns to London where his heart lies. From the 5th of November 1995, much to his surprise, he started to write poetry. He could not understand why he was writing poetry, it just seemed to flow out of him. Suddenly his eyes opened as to how sad this world had really become, and how greed had blinded us to the truth. So he started a caring campaign. He wrote a poem called The Word of Mao, and underneath he signed it, The Warrior Who Cares, dated 2nd of March 1996, the date he actually wrote the poem. He politely asked shopkeepers if he could display the poem, which he had printed in poster size in their windows, to which the majority agreed. A local newspaper wrote a story about him on the 10th of April 1996 and called him the Warrior Mao. He then continued to be in the local press as he was trying to support his community, and then found people on the street which, in turn, he began to help. He realised that we as a human race have become totally blinded by selfishness and greed. On the 10th of April 1997, he appeared on Sky Television speaking the truth.
Welcome back to our FOF election special. Today we're asking, would you vote for any of these?
Well,
Tell us about your haircut.
Yes,
Tell us about your hair.
Not for today. You see, when I began I started off a year ago.
Yeah.
I created a legend. I created an image.
Yeah.
See, I'm not Mao.
Yeah. What's the secret behind your popularity?
Well, a year ago, actually a year ago today, I got my first press release.
Oh yeah.
About a poem that I wrote, asking people to start to care nicely about the environment.
Could you give us like the first 3 lines of that poem? Or 4 lines? First stanza.
Please keep our village clean, for it's not our village, all our home. Treat it with respect, dispose of your rubbish properly. You know it's the right thing to do. It's the only thing to do, for do we not all live here? Please care, for I really do. Yeah. And underneath it, I signed it, The Warrior Who Cares. I'm a man who has lived for 40 years, and I cannot understand why there is so much money in this world that when I grew up we had the best health service in the world, and now these children are not getting anywhere near. The old people who have invested in this country since the 50s, or actually since the 40s, when they fought in the war, are now become second-rate citizens in their own country.
I vote for Warrior Mao.
One.
Yeah, Warrior Mao. Why? Why Warrior Mao?
Because he's the only one that seems to be going to do anything about the environment.
What are you?
I'm a man. I'm a free man, right, who's standing up for the rights of every person on this planet. Because we're destroying it. We're totally gone the wrong way, and no one is caring about their futures anymore.
Okay. Ah, turn around. Turn around. I don't know if you saw that home. Wait, can you show us that move again? The turnaround. Can you show us the turnaround? He's handed it like that. Warrior Mao took it, turned it around. And what are you doing now?
Rubbing its back.
Rubbing its why?
Why? Because it's got wind.
So you're getting it out?
Yeah.
Yep. If that baby could say anything now, the baby looks more sad now, isn't it? It's interesting that. What would the baby be saying?
The baby would say vote for Mao because Mao says that we are all one.
Yeah, okay. Warrior Mao, are you trustworthy?
Yes, very.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've proved that.
How have you proved that?
I showed the people in the borough of Enfield in the last year how much I care for the borough by doing things, helping the community, helping the old people, helping the young people, and trying to help the homeless out there on the streets.
Okay.
And people know that I'm trying to start a charity for the homeless.
No comment, please?
No comment. I just think it's about time we stopped listening to old men and women and started looking towards the future, because the way these old men and women are taking us is on the wrong line.
Yeah. And those for Warrior Mao, raise your hands. Okay, Warrior Mao has won! Fantastic. So thank you very much to all of our guests today, to Peter Russell, to Dangerous Dave, to Warrior Mao, to Rainbow George. We shall see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
He stood in the British general election where he lives in Enfield, which was the area from which Michael Portillo was televised all over the world.
The results to the candidates, to Michael Portillo, to Stephen Twigg, his Labour opponent, who we understand, we believe, has won the seat. We can see Mr Portillo there now. Once the returning officer has gone through the formalities of giving the result to them, they all knew the result a few minutes earlier in any case, but this is the formal handing over of that result. They're now going up onto the podium for the declaration here in Enfield South.
Well, this lances a devastating blow for Mr Portillo if it is true that he's lost this seat, because this was his one chance to take over the leadership of the Conservative Party, and he's blown it by losing his own seat. It must be a really tough moment for him.
The look on his face as he's been going around in the past few minutes before this count has been extraordinary. He obviously knows that his chances of taking over now are very slim.
For the Enfield Southgate constituency, held on the first day of May 1997, hereby give notice that the total number of votes recorded for each candidate at the election is as follows. Brown, Jeremy Richard, Liberal Democrat, 4,966. Luard, Nicholas Lammert, Referendum Party, 1,342. Malakuna, Andrew, Mal, Voice of the People, 229. Portillo, Michael Denzel Xavier. Thank you, members. Conservative Party, 19,137. Storkey, Alan James, Christian Democrat, 289. Twigg, Stephen, Labour Party, 20,507.
Since then, he has continued his caring campaign, and to date he has been in the local newspapers 120 times. Michael Portillo partly blamed him in the Sunday Telegraph for his election defeat. He then designed his own logo to show us all that it does not matter from what four corners of the earth we are born. We must realise we are all the same. Then maybe we might start caring what kind of world we are creating. He has even been to 10 Downing Street, taking documentation showing that the system is failing the people. He hoped the government would at least listen, but to his sadness, he could not get any help.